I used to feel totally stuck. Like I remember doing all the right things, trying to stay on track, and nothing was changing. For someone who has truly struggled with weight loss, it is so frustrating. But when I started to include the 5 foods that I'm gonna be sharing in today's video, everything started to finally shift. I didn't need to count calories. I just needed to eat foods that would actually satisfy me, keep me full, keep me consistent, and help me lose over 60 pounds without starving. So if you're feeling stuck like I was, then stick around because these 5 foods might just be your breakthrough too. All right, so let's jump into the first one, and that is potatoes. Now, potatoes were a huge part of my weight loss as soon as I stopped frying them. So obviously we're not talking about potatoes with oil or any high fat added to it, but potatoes as they are were a game changer in my weight loss journey. And a lot of you are probably wondering, regular potatoes, sweet potatoes, both. It really doesn't matter. Both of them are super filling, they're low calorie per gram, and actually really healthy for us. The most amazing thing for me about using potatoes for weight loss is the fact that they are a food that actually gives you that sense of like, I just ate something really good. You know, that hearty, want for nothing type of feeling when you're done eating. So oftentimes when we're on a weight loss journey, that is the opposite feeling because we find ourselves hungry or eating foods that just don't give that satiating feel the same way that potatoes do. So if you are new to a whole food plant-based weight loss journey, maybe you're coming from a different style of eating, you might be scratching your head being like, what? I can eat potatoes for weight loss? Yes, you can, because myself and many other people have already done it. So we are quite literally living proof that it works. Now there is one caveat, and that is if you are going to use them for weight loss, they absolutely have to be low fat. You can't be adding oil, you can't be adding cheese, you can't be adding sour cream, all of those higher fat foods that often are associated with using potatoes. They have to be low fat in order for them to work for weight loss. However, it's very possible to make them taste delicious while keeping them super low fat. So you'll still be able to get all the benefit of eating potatoes in terms of keeping you full and leaving you feeling satiated, but without all the fat. When they're eaten this way, they're actually a low calorie, high volume food, which means you get so much bang for your buck being able to eat the potatoes calorically speaking. You could probably even eat a couple of potatoes for the exact same amount of calories that you could be using in oil alone. And I also think that there's something to be said about the way that potatoes are prepared. Now, as long as they're low fat, you can eat them however you like. You can throw them in the oven, air fry them, boil them, prepare them however you want. But the calorie density reduces even further if you keep that water content intact. So when you boil them or use them in the Instant Pot or steam them, those are the absolute best ways to eat potatoes for weight loss. So including a ton of potatoes in my diet was something that I did at the very beginning of my weight loss journey and something that I'm still doing to this day. They are the ultimate weight loss food in my opinion. Okay, so the next food that you will see in my house literally every single week, every single day is the legume family. So we're talking beans and lentils. This hands down also has been a massive game changer in my personal health and weight loss journey. So let's just talk about satiety for a second. I know that there's a lot of buzz around potatoes, keeping us full, which they do, but I think that they have a really strong runner-up, if not maybe even, beans and legumes being in the lead in this department. So I always say that potatoes do a great job at instantly filling us up and giving us that like amazing feeling I was just talking about, where you get up from the table and you're like, oh, that was so good, I feel so good. But I feel like beans and lentils have their own special superpower, and that is that they actually keep you full even longer than potatoes. They are both super high in protein and fiber at the same time, creating this really incredible lasting fullness. Not to mention that there's constantly all kinds of information coming out about, the longevity benefits of adding legumes into your diet. And being from North America, I can honestly say, that beans and lentils are not typically a staple in most of our diets. So for me, it was a little bit tricky trying to figure out how to get them in all the time. I was using them in soups, but I personally don't eat a lot of soup in the seasons that are hot here in Canada. So I was like, there's gotta be another way that I can get them in. And I must say that I don't particularly just love lentils. I don't mind beans, but lentils you know, they're one of those things that I will eat them. I like a good lentil soup, but they're not a food that I naturally gravitate towards. Let's just say that. And I'm a very strong advocate in needing to like our food on a weight loss journey. So for me, being able to figure out the easiest way ever to get beans and lentils in my diet every day literally changed my life. So what I ended up doing was experimenting with throwing beans and lentils into a morning shake. I know that sounds disgusting for the average person that has never, thought of that or tried it, but trust me when I say that you can't taste them at all and they actually are quite delicious. All right, so before we jump into that next food, I have to jump on here and say that out of all the foods that I'm going to be showing you in today's video, I personally feel that beans and potatoes were the most helpful in my weight loss journey. So if you are looking to add some more potatoes and beans in your diet, then perhaps I can help, because right now I'm running an incredible sale on both of my most popular ebooks, and that is my all potato recipe ebook called Spud Skinny. There's 35 low-fat potato recipes designed specifically with weight loss in mind. And if you're trying to get more beans or lentils in your diet, then Shake Off the Weight is your go-to. There's 22 different amazing fiber protein shakes that I personally drank one a day every day to get the weight off. And right now you can get both books for only $8 for the next 48 hours only. That is literally only a fraction of their original price. So the link can be found in the description box below, and stick to the end of this video with me and there will be a bonus surprise at the end. All right, so the next food that helped me to become unstuck in my weight loss journey are oats. And the reason for that is, despite a lot of people thinking that, oats are not good for blood sugar, they're actually one of the slower digesting carbs. Okay, and my absolute favorite thing about using oats for weight loss is because out of all the starches, they are the quickest cooking starch. Because as we know, potatoes take time, rice can even take time, beans can take time. All of these other starches take time, and when you're hungry, we don't have time, So using oats for weight loss, especially when I was hungry and I didn't have anything prepared, was one of those secret tricks that I kept in my back pocket at all times. I don't know how many times that I've had oatmeal for dinner, so please try to remove labels from food, whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Food is food. You can literally have it anytime you want. Oats for dinner was a lifesaver for me on so many nights. So many times when I'm getting ready to walk out the door, I don't know what I'm gonna eat, I don't really have anything prepared, I will always just grab for a bowl of oats. The other thing that's so awesome about oats is that they can actually be eaten sweet or savory. So a lot of times people just think of eating it in the sweet way, but they can actually be cooked very similar to how you might prepare like a rice meal or a quinoa meal or something like that. So they're delicious when you add some spices. You can even add veggies to them to make them a really complete savory dish. Oats take on pretty much whatever flavor you give it. They are an incredible starch and played and still plays such a part in my weight loss journey. All right, so the next food that helped me become unstuck is quinoa. I wasn't always a huge fan of quinoa, if I'm being honest. I usually ate rice instead. I liked a lot of those, rice dishes. I find, the bowls that you can just one and done, everything's thrown in it, throw in some rice and soy sauce, you are good to go. But recently, I've really been looking at the nutrient profile of quinoa compared to rice. And for me personally, I see it as being a little bit healthier than rice. It's higher in protein, which I like that as well. So I've actually stopped eating so much rice. Like I'll eat rice more like an occasional treat type of thing. And I've swapped out any of my rice dishes and I'd like to include quinoa in it instead. Quinoa is also one of the faster cooking starches. It takes about 20 minutes or so, and it also can be frozen the same way that rice is. We've all heard of frozen rice. Well, you can freeze quinoa as well, all the same. So I actually will make a big pot of quinoa, and then I will scoop it out into individual sized servings and pop it in my freezer. So that makes my life incredibly easy to just be able to pull out a little individual serving of quinoa, whip it up with whatever veggies or tofu or whatever else I'm making, and dinner is done in like under 10 minutes. Quinoa, specifically frozen quinoa, is a game changer. All right, last but definitely not least are non-starchy veggies. Now, instead of eating less, I discovered that you can actually eat more as long as you are including a ton of non-starchy vegetables. So to give some perspective, non-starchy veggies are only about 100 calories per pound. A pound of food is quite a bit of food. So 100 calories for that, that's crazy. So when you think of it in that perspective, it basically means that you can eat unlimited non-starchy veggies and never really have to worry about it hindering your weight loss. In fact, it's going to have the opposite effect. The more of these non-starchy veggies that I ate, the more satisfied I felt. They are super nutrient dense. They offer a lot of flavor to most meals, as well as you can eat it in such a large volume. So if you are a volume eater, non-starchy veggies are your best friend. And it doesn't matter how you get them in. You can put them in a smoothie, you can eat them in a salad, you can have them in a soup, you can do a 50-50 plate, you can preload before you eat your meal. It literally doesn't matter. As long as you're increasing the amount of non-starchy veggies, then you are going to be lowering your overall calorie density of that meal. So you're gonna be able to eat a lot and still lose weight is basically what that means. All right, guys, so if you're feeling stuck, just know you are not alone, because I have been there, done that. I have struggled so many years, so I know all the feelings attached to that struggle, so I feel you. But just know that these 5 foods helped me break through when it seemed like nothing else was working. So hopefully this just might be the simple shift that you need too. So if you found today's video helpful and you want more real talk tips, as well as low-fat recipes that will completely support you on your own plant-based weight loss journey, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe on your way out. Also, don't forget about that incredible sale, both Spud Skinny and Shake Off the Weight, both of them for only $8. It means you're getting them both for $4. Like, it's quite a steal. But again, because the price is this low, I can't run the sale forever, so it is only for the next 48 hours. But I promise you, of all my books, these are the 2 books that are gonna put you in the right direction and get things moving for you. Because if I could scream it from the mountaintops, my personal superfoods in my weight loss journey were legumes and potatoes, hands down. So anyways, I highly recommend you checking out that sale. And as promised, if you've made it to the end of this video, the first 5 people are getting that bundle for free. So go click the link in my description box below that will take you to the sale, and they are all yours. Anyways, thanks so much for watching, everyone, and we will see you guys in the next one.